since we had seen both of the official cinematics, it really seems like Iridikron has always been 2 steps ahead of us with his super secret plan. Well, now with the new interviews, Blizzard just released some data mining hints as well as the new Dragon War novel. We are starting to learn what these 2 steps actually are. We learn how the primal incarnates were created in the ancient times, finally after all this time, and it is similar to the deep elemental energies that Firek is siphoning from the Zaralek Caverns in that exact cinematic. However, stealing the elemental powers is only one part of Iridikron's plan. He not only uses Aberrus as a distraction for us, but also as an opportunity to steal Neltharion's artifact right under our nose in order to use the powers of Galakrond. So, how are the incarnates created and what is Iridikron really up to? If you want to get Dragonflight or anything else Warcraft related, Gamigo has some excellent deals that you can check out with my link below. Best of all, you can get software, gift cards, a bunch of games at below market prices. On top of that, you can also use my code Doron to get yet another discount, so make sure to check out my link below and grab some amazing deals at Gamigo. So, since the start, Iridikron has been the villain. In fact, a lot of people have called him a new generation of villains that is, fortunately enough, 180 when compared to the jailer who was like, "You petty mortal, mind can't comprehend my master plan." While Iridikron probably is doing an even crazier 200 IQ plan, at least he's not underestimating us, calling us petty mortals, and actually knows we defeated everyone from the Legion to even Azot himself. So, the Opening the Way cinematic came out some 2 months ago, and as you may be aware, the whole reason why we even went into the Zaralek Caverns and Aberrus is because Iridikron led us there. We pursued him and he purposefully opened us and just let us go inside. Or like you would at least expect him to steal a lot of this stuff or just get into the lab himself, but he just kinda let us go inside. Now, this place was sealed for thousands of years, and in the cinematic, Iridikron was all cryptic like, "Let them reclaim their legacy, we have better things to do." While that storyline hasn't 100% finished, we actually have information not only from 10.1.5 but also from the new novel that is going to be coming out in October, but most importantly from official Blizzard interviews they had released about a week back, and we have finally learned why Iridikron actually led us into the Zaralek Caverns, Aberrus, and what his actual goal is, and as most people have predicted, it is all related to Galakrond. Now, you might have heard that the new novel is going to be coming out by the end of October, and it is going to be related to this war. It will finally tell us what happened, the true story about how the incarnates went to war with the aspects, and seeing that this is going to be released only shortly before BlizzCon, I really feel like there might even be more patches coming to Dragonflight than we had originally expected. At the moment, things are hinting that 10.2 is going to be about the Emerald Dream, but it is likely that 10.3 is going to be a very important patch as well, not just filler and expansion content. So to get into it, a few things have been confirmed, some speculations have been disproven, some have been kinda confirmed. What we know now, officially, is that the aspects first came to being and then the primal incarnates were created as a response to the aspects. In fact, it is likely quite a bit of time passed between the defeat of Galakrond and the formation of the incarnates. An interesting thing, Blizzard just confirmed, and they kinda backtracked, if you guys remember on this originally, they said that these primalists were the worshippers, the followers of Galakrond. However, now in an interview, they said that the incarnates themselves do not see Galakrond as a martyr or as an ally, and in fact, just like the aspects, they had feared him. With the recent hints, it is very likely that they just plan to use him as a power source, but they don't think of him as some sort of a savior or some martyr of the dragon kind. In fact, they probably despise him. Previously, there was a speculation, I made a video on this myself, that the incarnates were the experiment that we had seen in Tyr's lab, but seeing that they came to be after the aspects by drinking elemental powers of the earth, it is likely that Tyr had absolutely nothing to do with their creation. They were just their own thing, like their own creation. However, what now does appear to be the case is that Galakrond may in fact have been a Tyr's experiment, and a failed one as well. It is very likely Tyr attempted to siphon that same elemental power and empower a dragon, and then he just got wrecked by young Thrawn. I'd say incarnates probably see Galakrond as abomination and just one of the terrible things the Titans are doing to their kind, if this really is the case, as in through their experiments they turned one of their own dragons into just a complete abomination. However, what is interesting to note is that they got incarnate powers by drinking elemental powers of Earth. In fact, I'd say quite similar to what Fire has been doing in Zaralek Caverns. What these elemental powers mean is unsure, but I'm guessing there might be some type of hotspots, possibly related to Azeroth, akin to ley lines, and I'm guessing one of these is in Zaralek Caverns, which is why not only Deathwing created his lab here, but also one part of the plan as to why Iridikron decided to open up this place. However, I'd say that was more as an afterthought and sort of like a win-win scenario, but the main reason he decided to open up Zaralek Caverns was 1. To steal Neltharion's artifact from the laboratory, and 2. To distract us while he does his thing. So the first part of the plan and the original cinematic was to find an artifact in order to find the location of the Zaralek Caverns. Second was to find the caverns themselves, we've seen that, to steal the elemental powers, which was shown to us like the main goal, but the true goal was to steal an artifact of Deathwing from Aberrus. The reason we know this is because Blizzard just confirmed that in an interview. If you follow the 10.1.5 news, you can see that we're going back to the times of Galakrond, an alternate reality, and we are actually fighting Iridikron himself, like he's an actual boss in the dungeon. Chromie notices that he's using a really strange dark artifact, and she refers to it as the Ancient Dragon Soul. Iridikron seems to be successful in capturing the essence, and he says that this hunger cannot be lost to the ages. Now, in the most recent interview, Blizzard tells us that the device Iridikron uses to siphon Galakrond has properties akin to the Dragon Soul. They confirmed that it was forged by Neltharion himself, probably in his lab, and that we will learn about it in future updates. At the moment, we are unsure how the mega dungeon ends, as the cinematic is unclear, but seeing that they say that it will be relevant in future updates, let's just assume Iridikron manages to go back to the main timeline with the essence of Galakrond inside his stolen Dragon Soul. Now, that entire Dractyr storyline and the Void powers in 10.1, in my opinion, was mainly done as a distraction to weaken us. He not only weakened the Dractyr that were literally built to fight the Primal Incarnates and he divided them, but Iridikron also probably expected a Black Dragonflight to fall apart once they learned these secrets and to turn on the aspects themselves, which would saw even more chaos. Well, that didn't really turn out. We won with the power of friendship, and I'd say that part of his plan was actually half successful. I mean, he did kind of destroy the Dractyr. Now, keep in mind, there seems to be a cinematic at the end of the mega dungeon that we will see soon, so we will know 100% what happens next, but let's just say it is almost certain he is going to turn this old god power of Galakrond back to the main timeline, like he's going to bring it back. Furthermore, with this new tier questline and the new cinematic, there are hints that Alexstrasza will succumb to them, and it is very likely Iridikron is just going to hit Alexstrasza with this twisted Ancient Dragon Soul and possibly infect her similar to Galakrond, so she could be turning into Galakrond 2.0. An interesting hint that we have learned from this novel that is going to come soon is that this incarnate Viranaut seems to be the most neutral out of all of them, and Viranaut and Alexstrasza were originally really close and they tried to prevent this massive war, so it is now likely that Viranaut is going to turn against Iridikron if he does in fact attack Alexstrasza like this and to bring Galakron's power to the main timeline. This could even be related to all the 6 Dragonflight hints that we've had since the start of the expansion. We could see Viranaut then embraced as the 6th aspect and as a sign of peace between the two warring dragon factions, and we could legit be getting Frost Dragons. However, we still have Fireack and Iridikron to deal with. The dungeon boss fight is obviously just a setup for the main storyline, so we may be in for quite a few more things down the line, as thus far, aside from Razaketh, we have not really defeated any of the Primal Incarnates. We haven't even fought them. Now, of course, most of this end part is speculation, but let's just say that the ground is really being set up with this. The novel will reveal the real storyline and the relationship, but before that, we're probably going to see that Iridikron cinematic from 10.1.5, which is going to reveal to us what he truly has been doing with Neltharion's Dragon Soul and Galakrond. Thank you for watching. Check out the possible return of the Scarlet Crusade by clicking on the screen, and check out the Academy for videos on real world history. See you next time.